Here's an unusual song. I haven't sung it for so long. I was collecting folk songs in the 1970s, and I had a letter from a man called Jim Cargill, who lived in Randwick, in Avoca Street, in a shared accommodation. He was 80-something, and he said, "I have a song that you might be interested in, Mr. Fay. I heard you on the radio, on the ABC, and it's called The Gumtree Canoe." And I went, "Oh, okay." I knew that was a Stephen Foster parody that had found its way to Australia. Only been collected once prior, so I was very keen to go and tape Jimmy Cargill. When I went to see him, I found out that he'd been a sailor for most of his life, and had wonderful stories and a whole collection of sea shanties. And it was a real treasure to find. And one of the songs that he sang me was called Maids of Australia, a very unusual song, in as much as it's the first and the only song that I know that talks about sexual relationships between the settlers and the indigenous people. And it's an erotic folk song, not a bawdy song. One day as I walked by those Hawkesbury banks, where the maids of Australia, they play their wild pranks, 'neath a palm-shaded tree I sat myself down to admire the young damsels who gathered around on the banks of my native Australia. On the banks of my native Australia, where the maidens are handsome and gay. Well, I hadn't been there long when a pretty fair damsel appeared. She had come for to bathe in those streams close by there. With kissing and caressing, she soon said to me, "Can't you see these are the clothes that kind nature gave me on the morn I was born in Australia? On the morn I was born in Australia, where the maidens are handsome and gay." Well, soon tired of swimming, she swam to the brink, saying, "Save me, kind sir, for I fear I might sink." I reached out my hand, took hold of her hand, and I lost my grip and fell back on the sand. And I entered the bushes of Australia. Yes, I entered the bushes of Australia, where the maidens are handsome and gay. Well, 6 months had passed and 9 months had come, and this charming young damsel, she brought forth a fine son. She looked for his dad, but him could not find. It's then she remembered that fall on the sand, on the banks of the native Australia, on the banks of a native Australia, where the maidens are handsome and gay.